Siamese ports, how do we weld in between these cylinders? Let's talk about it. All right, the short answer is we don't, and I'll explain why. For 99% of jobs, we don't need to, and it's all about the pressure that we can create from welding with two flat surfaces, and I'm going to demo that for you now, guys. So what we're going to do is just simulate what we would do when we weld this. We're not going to create as much pressure on this because it's not a continuous plate bolted. So we'll actually create a little bit more distortion. So this one would probably leak more than an actual manifold will, but it'll give you an idea. So we're going to set up now, we're going to tack it, and then we're going to fully weld the outside, not weld the inside. And I'm going to show you how much bypass we actually get. And then we're going to do some simple math and show you whether it's worth the work or it's not. All right, there it is, nothing flash. I just slapped some weld on it. I even backfilled or back welded on the far side runner like we would on a manifold, just to simulate the same heat patterns. I get a lot of welders asking about backfilling and why I'm welding backwards. It's not that I'm welding backwards, it's called backfilling. When you start building manifolds or anything where there's some shapes you need to work around, you're going to have to learn to backfill. It's just as strong when done right, so learn the technique rather than criticizing something you don't understand, especially if you're going to get into automotive fabrication, because you've got to learn how to do it. But we'll let that cool down, and while we do, we might talk about rods and materials. All right, so what I wanted to talk about while this is cooling down is rod choice when it comes to fabricating a manifold, and why we do it a certain way with different materials of aluminium. So 6061, we never join to 6061. Our head plates are a 5000 material. This gives them rigidity and strength and more yield than a 6060 manifold. So if you're joining 60 to 60, a lot of people will have cracking issues, and I help a lot of people out that do a lot of fabrication when it comes to manifold, and they have lots of cracking issues, and it's generally because they're joining the two materials with the wrong rod, or two materials that don't join well together, and that's generally 60 to 60. So we always join 60 to a 5000. So we'll go 5000, 60, 5000. We'll never go 60 to 60 for many reasons. Obviously the yield aspect of manifolds, because we're dealing with a harmonic machine, something that will shake things apart. We've been very, very lucky over the years. We've never lost a manifold. We've had massive backfires and everything like that. We've had superchargers turn the belt inside out, the engine explode, and maybe just a crack through the belly or something simple. So we've really seen even what the rod choice can affect. And you can simply test your rods real quickly, and I've done shorts on this before. 5356, that's a lot harder. So this is a stronger rod, and it does have more yield than, say, 4043, but it creates far more weld stress. It'll want to pull and twist that manifold up. So if you welded your whole manifold in 5356, you turn it into a banana. So we use 4643, 4943, or 4043, and that's a much softer rod. So the reason it won't shrink as much because it has more silicon, more glass in it. The 4043 is about 5%, and the 46 is about 2%. So that's our stronger rod that we'll use with a lot of supercharged manifolds, but we do get much more shrinkage. So we'll get about 60 thousandths shrinkage with a 46 manifold versus a 4043, where we're only getting about 40 thou shrinkage and movement in the manifold. So I've just done this one with 4043. We're not going to create as much clamping force, but the idea is that as we weld this, it tries to pull the runner through the head plate. And if we can keep the head plate flat or bolted to the cylinder head, it's going to try and press that runner through the head plate. And that's what creates the seal of the runner. And that's the reason why we don't need to weld them up. I used to weld them up years ago, and then we got really short on time and end up dynoing a small block without doing it. And I've seen absolutely nothing. And then basically it was irking me a little bit not to do it. So we end up pulling the manifold off and welding both sides and then putting it back on the dyno, and we've seen absolutely zero change. So ever since then, I haven't really bothered, and I started to understand obviously the welding process properly and what's actually happening there as far as the physics go when we basically glue these two parts together. And because we're welding and putting heat, as the temperature of that weld reduces, it contracts and it starts to press those two parts together. And you really start noticing it when you pull the head off. You can actually get a high spot where the center vein is, because it's trying to push it through the cylinder head. So it's creating a lot of force, and that's what creates our sealing method. So we'll let this cool down and we'll come back to it. All right, so we've pretty much let that cool. It's still a tad warm. So now what I'm going to do is just a quick little fluid test. So we're going to fill one runner up with water and see how long it takes to transfer into the other side. So let's give that a whirl. That's pretty much brimmed. A little drop. Yep. And now we can look in the other side, and we're still pretty much dry. There's the tiniest little drop. That's about all we're getting, guys. That's it. Zoom on that. There we go. That is water, isn't it? It's not a Weld bubble.
It's getting there.
Yeah. So that's how well this actually seals. We'll go the other way. So as you can imagine, an engine at 7,000 RPM, even if this lost 1 cubic foot per hour, the percentage rate is like 0.00001. So as you can imagine, it's something we couldn't even measure on the dyno, and that's what we found when we were actually testing. So that has virtually zero effect whether we weld the in between the runners, simply down to the physics of welding. When we weld these two plates together, this runner is pushing down with over a ton of force, clamping those two pieces together. And this is why we don't weld between the, what are they called? Siamese ports. All right, guys, so it's been an hour, and this is all we have. Maybe a CC at tops. So this is why we don't bother doing it. It's really not worth the effort. As I said, it's in the fractions and fractions of a percentage point. So of air transfer. And again, like I said, we've seen no horsepower difference. So I don't see the point in doing extra labor when we are creating quite a good seal just from the pressure of the what the weld creates as it shrinks down, right? Because as that weld gets colder, it's going to get smaller, and that's going to pull the runner into that plate. So there we go, guys. Hopefully that makes sense. See you in the next one.
Right.
So that's holding it very, very well.
Velcro.
Was that a spill or was that because it's not even in the seam line? Maybe I spilt it. I don't know. It splashed.
Velcro holds better than that, mate.
Velcro. Yeah.